do have a live audience sometimes. So
They are a small but dedicated group.
They are, and they probably would be upset if I forgot to press that button. So, all right, talking Project Jacquard, this is Google's gesture control jacket, made in cooperation with Levi's. It is a trucker jacket. It looks fine, I guess.
Just hearing somebody say gesture control jacket makes me chuckle. I enjoy that it's a thing, but I don't think anybody should buy it.
So this is going to be a fairly limited run thing, and it costs $350, which for a low production piece of clothing is not bad. That's actually normal.
Right.
Well, but I mean, it's not like this is an entirely custom thing. Levi just took the jacket they already make and they like changed the sleeve on it.
Yeah.
Is it exactly the same? It's not. I thought it was a slightly different design.
I'm pretty sure it's almost identical to their regular trucker jacket.
Yeah, so I mean, it has to go on its own line and everything, and they've got to make it separately. They're probably made by hand, so it's probably a pretty nice jacket. I'm willing to bet. For a trucker jacket.
I have to look into it, and I intend to later, but I think the jacket normally retails for somewhere close to or just over $100. So it's not a low-end jacket by any stretch, but at the same time, that's a pretty tough premium to add for the features.
I think we have the price of the regular one in the so like it's like $150 for the untouch sensitive jacket.
Okay.
I think that's a fair markup, honestly. But clothes that's just kind of how it is. So the one thing I took away from the launch though was when somebody asked how many times can you wash it? The answer is 4.
Oh, is that really?
4 washes.
Wait, wow. Everyone else was saying 10.
I thought I saw 4.
I mean, either way, that is not a lot.
Yeah, it's a really limited thing.
I don't know if I'd want to spend $350 on something that I could only wash a couple times.
You probably don't wash a denim jacket very often. You probably spot clean it if you got a stain on it. But that is, concerning.
I assume air dry. Right? Like you can't just toss it in the dryer.
Oh yeah, I wonder if you can even put it in the dryer. I didn't look at that either. I'm sure this thing has like the longest. I bet it comes like a fabric care like sheet, like it just on a piece of paper.
So the instructions say that you can put it in the dryer, but they really advise going with the most gentle drying that you can. Low heat, low abuse, low everything, so it prolongs the wear of the jacket.
Yeah. So obviously wearable technology clothing has some small practicality kinks that may need to be worked out if they're going to become a thing.
And like there's a little like a Bluetooth dongle that plugs into the sleeve that does like the communication with your phone, and you have to remember to take that off before you wash it, obviously.
I just want to say
I don't think
this is not a problem because I would never wear anything like that. So it's not great.
I'm just kind of.
I don't think it looks. I mean, it looks like the sort of thing I would see people wearing in real life, and I guess
it looks like a denim jacket.
And it's nice that they were able to make this thing that does all the smart touch gesture stuff on the sleeve and make it not look like a piece of technology. Like that's cool.
It doesn't
in the
look like
abstract.
Google Glass.
Yeah, it does. It just looks like a jacket, which is fine.
Somebody bought one for me. I'd wear it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it's what it is. So we've asked Google for a review unit. So we'll see if they come through. They did send out review units, so it's I guess they probably have kind of a limited number of them though. I wonder how many they're actually making.
I mean, not that many. I can't imagine they're expecting to sell very many of these.
Yeah, I would not think so either. I mean, they're only on sale in some small boutique stores. They're not even on sale. It's not even at Levi's stores. They're fashion boutiques, so they have them on sale.
Yeah.
So.
You'll be able to buy them like from Levi's website eventually, like maybe next week, I think. But it's going to be limited quantities, obviously.
Yeah.
So, which really quick, I just want to say it's been driving me crazy. Why did they pick the locations they did? Like the least they could have done is chosen places that are already at least getting cool as we get later into the season. Putting one in LA just seems dumb to me.
Because it's like it's about fashion. I think that's just what their thought process was.
I get that, but tell me it wouldn't have done like 10 times better in San Francisco and Seattle.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I found it really weird that they didn't choose San Francisco. Actually, that was a bit odd to me. But considering Levi's was founded in San Francisco and Google's based in the Bay Area, but whatever. Maybe they wanted a more diverse audience at launch, which is to say probably nobody. They probably sold a few.
I mean, they've been working on this for ages. It's been like 2 years since they showed off the technology, and they talked about this exact item like a year ago, and just now it's coming out.
Yeah, it did take them quite a while. So I don't know. We'll see if we can review it. Cody will be trying it out, and we'll see what Cody's thoughts are. This is something I think like their main use case was like, for people on bicycles originally, but now the marketing materials are just people like standing around wearing the jacket. So I don't know what their deal is.
Walking down the street with their jacket. It's like, I could take my phone out right now, but I'm walking.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah. To take a little detour here, we'll talk very quickly about the this isn't a Google product, but it involves a Google product or service. I've got the Bose QC35-2 headphones. Let me grab them right here for all of you people listening that can't see what I'm about to show you. Anyway, they're just like the regular Bose QC35 that have been on the market for like a little over a year now. There's just one difference. There is a button on the left ear cup, right where I'm putting it up to the camera here. That button activates Google Assistant. So you're probably wondering, like, how is this any different from a pair of headphones that has a assistant button built in that can activate Siri or the Google Assistant already? Because a lot of headphones do that, or at least some Bluetooth headphones do that now. The big difference is that headphones with the assistant built in, actually the Bluetooth like firmware or the firmware in the headphones has to be written such that it knows like to activate the assistant in this audio interface mode. So the actual recording of the audio and a lot of the initial voice prompts, as far as I understand it, like come from the headphone itself, and it goes through the headphone, then back to the phone for the actual query processing. But the idea is you get instantaneous response from Google Assistant for one. So you touch the you press and hold the Assistant button, and as soon as you're pressing it, it's ready for voice input. There is no delay whatsoever, which is great because that's always annoying, I've found. The other thing is it can read you your notifications. So like if you get a text message and it comes in, you get the notification noise, and then if you press the Assistant button, after the message comes in, it'll tell you what time it is, and then it will read you the notification. It'll tell you what the app is, and then it can understand basic message types, like if it's a message. So it'll tell you who the sender was, and then the body of the message. So that could be useful, definitely in certain scenarios, I think. Yeah, I don't find myself using it terribly often, though. I would say the main benefit to the assistant being built in is that you get instant voice query recognition, and your phone screen doesn't turn on to do things unnecessarily. So everything happens in the audio interface, which I think, there's a definite advantage to that, and that does have to be built into the headphones. Google has said you can't just do this in software on the phone.
Huh.
Now, whether or not that's something that you're going to get a lot of mileage out of, I think depends heavily on exactly, like how you use the assistant. For me, the one time I found it really useful is like when I wanted to set a timer. I could just instantly do that. I didn't have to worry about hot wording my phone and whether or not it would understand me. The microphone on these Bose headphones seems really good, so it understands everything super clearly. And I never had to touch my phone, set the timer, which was kind of cool. So yeah, they're $350. So
is it more than the ones that don't have assistant?
Nope, same price.
No, whatever.
Because they're otherwise unchanged as far as there might be some like little tiny hardware revisions in them, like stuff they discovered that they wanted to change, but they're the same headphones otherwise.
Now, I think the question on everyone's minds is, can you set reminders?
I don't see why you couldn't.
Have you tried?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, David, be thorough.
Okay, hold
Couldn't
on.
set reminders for a year.
Okay, hold on. I actually can try this real quick here if I just flip them on. These Bose headphones connect to phones really fast. They've got a nice switch to turn on. I really like them. They're fantastic.
So Ron's asking, how does the assistant handle URLs from a message?
Oh God, I don't want to know. Probably badly. So they're turned on.
It will read the entire HTML of the page.
Okay, it's probably
that'd be
reading
neat.
me a message right now.
Title: Android Police. Body: Header. Menu.
Yeah.
Set a reminder to tell me if these headphones can set a reminder.
When do you want to be reminded?
Ah, it works.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay.
Reminders confirmed.
yay!
This just in.
Yeah. All right. And speaking of reminders, Google Home finally got reminders too.
Oh my god!
Has everybody tried this out yet?
No,
I
I
have.
forgot about it.
I didn't have it when it first came up, and I haven't thought about it since.
Truthfully, I'd
Okay.
never used reminders much, so yeah, that was not actually a big issue for me ever.
I tried it a day after it went live and it worked, but it did not work for me initially.
So one thing that the update with reminders also brought is integration with reminders on your, they said on your phone. So what Corbin was telling me, his experience was different than mine. Maybe I just didn't hear mine when I did it. So if you set a reminder on your phone, it will, and the reminder is, triggered. A little white dot will pop up on your Google Home. One of the lights will illuminate. And supposedly it will speak you the reminder and tell you who the reminder is for. Corbin, does it do anything beyond that? Like, can it actually tell you what the reminder is?
I don't know. I'm actually going to try it right now. Let's see.
Because I couldn't get mine to do anything. So the white dot was there, and I
2
pressed the
minutes
home, and nothing would
to
happen.
test.
So, like,
Oh, I didn't hear
I
anything I said.
That's well, yeah, that's Google.
yeah.
I mean,
Still working.
at least they did it. I mean, it took them like a year to do it, but
This is incredible. I keep pressing the microphone button, and it does like the little animation that it's doing, and then it immediately closes.
That's probably the
okay.
Xiaomi Mi 1A being a pain. Anyway,
Welcome to
so
the Xiaomi life, man.
yeah, I think it's nice that it does this. I wish it read the reminder out when you press the thing. I guess if they have like privacy concerns, then maybe, but I don't know. I guess setting reminders is fine. I guess that's cool. But now that the shopping list is integrated in Google Express, like I would never use it for anything. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
Like it's useless to me. So until
Yeah,
like
that
you
took
can
me to
have
the shopping list.
yeah, until you, I have to think they're working on like a service selector for lists. They have to.
That would be nice.
Like the whole moving into Express things makes no sense. It's so frustrating.
that was a very weird decision. It's like whoever's in charge of Express just has a lot of power in the company for some reason.
Yeah,
well,
apparently.
they're doing a lot of a business push for Express anyway, so I don't think it's just somebody taking control. I think there was a top-down decision. Like,
I mean,
this is going to happen.
I feel like Google Express is not a very good deal, right? Am I crazy?
It's not. No, it's not. It really isn't. I used a free trial for like a while. I used several free trials, admittedly.
We live on free trials, David.
Yeah. So with the free trial, it was great, and then they raised up all the Costco prices, and then it became a worse deal. Like it's just not
Okay.
worth it.
set a reminder, so we'll see what happens. I'll watch my home.
So yeah, Google Home has reminders. They could be useful to you. So
only
Cody tore down the YouTube app this week, the latest YouTube app, and found a reference to something called YouTube Plus. What could it be?
Well, the best answer is it is a new subscription tier, and that is all we know. Period. It is something other than Red, and it seems like a pretty safe bet that it's not the, like, I guess another name for the free tier that everyone else is just automatically on if they're not on Red. Like, beyond that, there's no other details. So the question becomes, like, is it a higher tier? Does it include like YouTube TV combined with YouTube Red and maybe some other stuff? Is it something lower? It's all pretty much speculation right now, but what would you even want it to be is what gets me. Like, I don't know what else I would want besides what YouTube Red already is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I'm too cheap for YouTube Red anyway, so
Okay,
doesn't much matter to
maybe.
me.
Okay, maybe like okay. So theoretically, let's put this out there. So YouTube Red includes Google Play Music, and they're going to combine them into their own like single branding thing that makes sense or whatever. So what if this is the lower tier YouTube product that doesn't include any music stuff? So like you pay $5 a month and you get no ads and you get the Red content, but you don't get Play Music. Or
That would be weird to have Red content in something that's not YouTube Red.
Right.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
that plus you wouldn't really be able to get rid of music anyway, because you're still going to have all the music videos that YouTube Music provides. So
maybe it doesn't include that. Maybe that's what the new bundling offer is going to be about.
I don't know how you could cut those out.
You can go to those videos if you don't have YouTube Red, right? They're just ads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like if YouTube Plus is just like no ads on all of your favorite videos, excludes music, like I could maybe see that. I could see there being a demand for that.
I mean, I guess this seems like an unnecessarily complicated tiering system.
Whereas
It's Google.
The full integration thing for like Red plus music plus YouTube TV, that does make sense, but at the same time, like unless they're going to price it more cheaply, what the hell's the point of bundling them all together? Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't really add anything,
Well, and then we might as well throw in the other two kind of real off the wall sort of things. One of them is that this could be the start of that crazy like Netflix style streaming that has been rumored for years. Everyone thinks that Google's going to do a Netflix thing, and I mean, I don't think that's what this will be, but it would be cool if it was.
that seems like a very difficult path to start down right now.
Yeah, and also I think that would more likely go through Google Play or not Google Play Services, but the Google Play Store. Like, if you're going to do something like that, they already have all the content going through Play Movies and TV. Why would that not just be the subscription you do? And then the other theory is that this might be a regional thing. So, for people who live in India, you can't get YouTube Red, so you can get YouTube Plus, something like that.
Okay, here's an idea. Maybe so the way I understand it, the reason like YouTube Music exists, part of it, is that the record labels have carved out special deals with YouTube. That's all, that's not like they don't just upload a music video, they have their own system, their own royalty system and everything. And so a lot of those videos aren't available outside the United States. A lot of them, probably have different licensing deals outside the U.S., working with different labels or working with different arms of the same label regionally. I think Cody could be on something about the regional, where YouTube will only pull off the ads on the content that YouTube has the license to. So anything that's UGC on YouTube, as opposed to stuff that's been uploaded under a music license that's been negotiated separately. So that could make sense. I could definitely see that being a thing. Sure.
Okay, I have an update on the Google Home. I got the reminder on my phone, but absolutely nothing happened on my home.
So Google is
Good job, Google.
Still making some changes, I guess.
Product.
All right. So there was some big news last week in Google and HTC land in terms of, Google's going to pay HTC a lot of money. Not that, it's a lot of money, but it's not like a lot of Google money. It's like, Google finds this big couch cushions.
It's like Google was like, I guess we can spend that today. Maybe tomorrow we'll spend the same amount on something else.
Yeah, so Google paid $1.1 billion to acquire the entire team of engineers behind basically HTC's ODM team, the team that designs phones and products for other companies.
Yeah, the Pixel people, basically.
Yeah, so they did a lot of the hardware design for the Pixel. So those are now Google employees. And then Google got a pretty open-ended license to HTC's intellectual property. which HTC retains control of, but now Google is a full licensee and, can do whatever the hell they want with HTC's technology, which really makes sense in light of the new Pixels having the squeezy bit.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
But I mean, as we approach this announcement, the rumors were that Google was going to acquire HTC's entire smartphone business, and obviously the deal is smaller than that. It is just the Pixel team, and I feel like this is not. I mean, this doesn't bode well for HTC's future. I don't think this changes the situation for them at all.
No.
Oh no, for HTC, this is probably kind of a bad deal. If
yeah,
anything,
I mean, if Google was willing to buy the entire smartphone division and HTC said no, then man, that would be a big mistake.
That would be, yeah, because this 1.1 billion is not going to fix.
Yeah, no, it doesn't change what HTC's been doing, and they were all like in the press release, they're all jazzed about their branded products and like we have a successor to the U11 coming up. And it's like, yeah, but nobody bought the U11. So
nobody cares. HTC, nobody cares.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So, I mean, HTC can still be in the business of making phones for other companies, but more in kind of the Foxconn sense of where like somebody supplies a design and they build it, I'm sure that HTC could continue doing that. And obviously will for the Pixel 2, not the new Pixel 2 XL, that's LG. But so I think they'll still have that business there. But yeah, this kind of seems like, I don't know. I mean, I guess we're not privy to a lot of details about this deal, despite the fact it's been announced. I feel like there's probably a lot more to it that we just haven't, been able to really parse because it's probably all super secret.
Well, at this point, you got to wonder, did HTC basically just kind of like sign off their last big good client? Like Google was buying a bunch of phones off of them. And it may not have been a massive number, but it was at least a pretty good contract. And now they just gave it away.
Well, somebody still has to make the phones. I mean, if Google's still using HTC,
Google's going to go to HTC for that?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's not like Google had any supply problems with the original Pixel or anything.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Yeah. So like the supply problems were bad, but
that's a joke.
Thus far, the Pixels have not started spontaneously rebooting on everybody, nor has the battery completely died. So they're running ahead of the Nexus line so far.
It does boot with Oreo.
Yeah, people say that, but I don't think it's
not the boot loops.
I don't think it's the same degree of a problem.
That's hashtag Artem's luck. That's a different kind of failure.
Yeah.
I did get it once on my Pixel, but it only happened once. So.
I will say, in terms of all the Pixels I've had so far, like none of them have exhibited strange long-term problems. The camera's still open fast, the software is still fast, the battery life is still largely predictable. They have aged. Bluetooth is still awful. Bluetooth is terrible, just garbage, complete, utter dumpster fire of Bluetooth. But it's been consistently bad, so there's that. But everything else has just been kind of like this, signal strength is okay. The build is, well, one of mine did fade really badly around the edges on the back. But a later one I had didn't. So I feel like maybe they changed something in the manufacturing process. Or I scraped it on like metal less. I don't know. Maybe there's some differences there. I feel like it did hold up pretty well though, comparatively. It's not bad compared to Nexuses, at least. Yeah. The Huawei, the Nexus 6P had its some issues, like eventually leading to Google replacing them with Pixels.
Every former Nexus has had a lot of issues.
It's true. They really have. They have not been.
It sucks. When we review all this stuff when it comes out, and we're like, "Hey, look, it does all these things, and it's really cool and it's fast." And then, like a year later, they're all falling apart. And it's like, well, I mean, I wish we could have known that going in, but there's really nothing we can do about it. It's just, I guess, the way phones are sometimes, which is a bummer when people are spending, $600 on a phone.
Like the G6 is terrible after long-term use.
Really?
It's gotten to the point where it's practically unusable. Where it just
the one you have is pre-production though, so I don't know if that's entirely the case for everybody.
Yeah, that could be. I have heard of G6 lag before from other people.
I've talked to other G6 owners, and they tell me the same thing.
Yeah. So Google did announce a phone. It's just not its phone last week as well. The Moto X4 Android One edition, which was rumored by Evan Blass and others for quite, I think 9 to 5 Google had rumored this ages ago. So we know what the Moto X4 is. This is a Moto X4, except they removed the Motorola features, and Google makes sure basically builds a software update. I think Moto's still in charge of distributing it, right?
Well,
I believe. Well, not on Fi.
I think it's going to be sold through the Fi website, I believe.
Oh, yeah, so Google would handle it because they're the carrier.
Motorola, I think, is also going to sell the phone. I don't know if it is going to be like branded as the Fi device, but I mean, it should still work. The internal should be the same.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the one that Google is selling, the Fi one, it's still going to have like the Motorola, like the Moto display and Moto action stuff.
Okay, interesting.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's $400. I mean, this is the first time we've heard about pricing for the Moto X4.
400. That is also what the last Moto X launched at. It was $400, but it was spec'd a little bit better for the time then.
Yeah, that's what I kind of feel. So this is a Snapdragon 650,
630, I think.
630. Okay. Yeah.
630, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gig with micro SD expansion. The screen is 5.3 inches, and it is IPS. It's not AMOLED, but it is 1080p.
Is it rated IP anything?
It is.
Yeah, I think it's IP68.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, it is. You're right. I was at the Moto booth, and they were.
Oh, yeah. We dunked it. We dunked it in the water. Scott was very excited about that.
So when I used it at the booth, honestly, I don't like how this phone looks. It kind of feels like a bad riff on like the Galaxy phone.
I feel kind of ambivalent about it. I think that the back panel has kind of a neat effect. Like it sort of has like that distortion wave through the glass. I think it's kind of neat. I don't know if it's a good design long term. I think it's kind of maybe gimmicky.
I don't like the way this phone looks. It's fussy on the back. It's got that weird like watch ring bezel thing around the camera, and it feels too. I like Moto when they go a little more simple.
Unnecessary to make the back of this phone glass.
Yeah, exactly. That's
if they're gonna, I don't even know why they're calling it a Moto X, because for me the Moto X series was always about customization, and there's no customization.
Yeah, you can't do mods, obviously. You can't do mods on this.
No, there are no mod connectors. It's only the Z series gets that.
Yeah, and it doesn't have wireless charging, does it?
I don't know.
That's a good question, actually. I didn't hear anything about that, and I feel like Moto probably would have played it up.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I assume they're just doing glass for the sake of like, look, it's a premium phone because premium phones are made of glass now, which is stupid. I wish that would be a thing.
I will say that if this did have the Moto Maker customization, or at least a model with a not ugly back, I really wouldn't mind picking this up because this looks really nice, and it's on Fi, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first Fi. I mean, it's a mid-price Fi phone, which I suppose will attract some people. Oh, we should point out it has a dual camera. It has a 12 megapixel regular camera and an 8 megapixel wide-angle camera.
Oh yeah,
so that's something to care about.
I know this is definitely a much bigger deal for Fi people than it is probably for everyone else, because after the Pixels came out, there was sort of a gap in their phone library, because I know a lot of people switched over to it back when they had the $200 Nexus 5X, and so they had the 5X and $200. The Nexus 6P was like $300 or $400. So there was a couple different price points, but then over the past year, there's just been the Pixel that's $600 and up. So this is, again, they're finally having a somewhat budget device. I still think it'd be cool if they could get a cheaper phone on there, like a G5 or a G5.
Yeah, they should. It would be. I was about to say it would be very nice if they could sell like a $200 phone, like the G5 Plus or something. That would be ideal. And there's no reason that couldn't work. It has the same radio setup that the X4 does.
Or even like an E4 Plus, as like people who need like a backup phone. That'd be great.
That would make sense, though.
Poor Fi.
I mean, yeah. So like the X4, it just seems like kind of a, I don't know, like a confusing phone. Like this is Motorola just making too many phones. They have so many phones now. So
I
many.
feel like Google is doubling down on. I see a lot of Fi advertisements on the web right now, oddly, which it feels so counterintuitive because it's like you can buy two phones that work on this carrier, and it's like they're both really expensive, and that's not made implicit in the ads at all. It's just like it's bad advertising. It's very
And yeah, like Fi is like, look, it's so cheap. You only pay this many dollars per month. Also, the phone is $600.
yeah, it's totally ridiculous. I think the reason they're doing it though is because when Virgin announced they were going iPhone only, I feel like Google suddenly felt, oh, we have to really push this now because we need our own prepaid option that's special for Android. And I just don't think they're doing a very good job with that. I think the Moto X4 is obviously an improvement, but I don't think it covers enough of the spectrum. And I think
they more phones.
Yeah, they
Two
really
phones is
do.
still-
Getting more. I assume their whole goal is to make Fi Android One and Pixel only. I've got to assume that's their goal now.
Yeah.
And it's probably pretty hard to get a lot of companies to make a bet on Android One in the US when they're just not going to move the units. And I think Moto's barely going to sell any of these Project Fi Edition phones.
Yeah, and the other problem is that there is that software component to Project Fi that does the network switching. So they would have to work with these to get custom devices, even if they're not Android One, just to put the app on there and make sure it works with whatever Android build the companies use.
Yeah, and have the right band support and everything for Sprint, which is not 100% common in all phones. So it's something. Moto is the exception, where Moto's phones work with all bands on every carrier. So they're the obvious choice.
unless you buy the Moto Z, in which case Verizon has made them change that.
Yeah. Except for the new one. The new one actually has all the same bands now. I guess Verizon decided they didn't care. Okay, so this week, was it this week? No, it was last week. I'm like, my calendar's so confused right now. I was at this and I don't remember when it happened. So Nest had an event last week and they announced a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it's pretty cool. So we had basically, I'd say kind of the hub of the event was Nest Secure, which is their new home security system that should work with all of your other Nest stuff. So I was there for this and got to look at the hardware, and the thing that I like about it is, so I know Alarm.com, for example, has similar setups, where you've got the modular security pad hub and everything, and you've got an app and you've got sensors that you can buy standalone. I feel like Nest made it pretty simple to understand how to make your own home security system, which was kind of neat. So basically, you've got a hub device that has a keypad on it, and that's where you arm or disarm the central security system. And then you buy the sensors. The sensors can either be set up on a door or a window. And so it can detect when the door is open and when the window is open. They also are motion detectors. They're also night lights, which is kind of cool. So they can see when you walk by and light up and briefly illuminate your path. I think Nest calls it path illumination or something. So they're pretty tricky. The batteries in them last for Nest's figure is 2 years. They take a CR2032 battery, I think it is. The same, it's like a CMOS battery. And so, they work wirelessly. You can pay Nest $5 a month to add cellular backup to the service if you want. So if your power goes out, you can get cellular service on your security system, which is kind of nice. And I think they'll do it for $50 a year, actually, if you buy an annual subscription, which is not bad at all. And otherwise, all the other features are free. So you can, and we'll eventually be able to buy professional monitoring for $30. Well, no, we don't know the pricing. It'll probably be like $30 or $35 a month. But anyway, so if you want to buy this, which it looks pretty cool, and for me as a renter, everything's like either standalone or adhesive based. There's no drilling anything, no messing with wires. It's all wireless. Nest will sell you a starter pack that comes with the hub, 2 sensors, so you can do one door, one window, and 2 key fobs. So the key fobs are used to arm or disarm the system. You put them on your keychain, say you arm or disarm the alarm. This costs $500, which is a little bit. Just a little bit. And each additional door window sensor is $60.
Jesus.
My apartment has windows that could be accessed by a person realistically, probably 9. And then 2 exterior doors, and then I guess we have a basement door that goes to like a common area in the basement. And you probably realistically want one on that too. So that would be 3 doors and then like 8 windows. So $660 to fully Nest Protect plus the 5. So no, it'd be more than that. It'd be like 660 minus 540. So it'd be like $1,000 to get the system in my apartment.
So did they explain like the battery that lasts 2 years? That is it user replaceable? Can you open it and replace that?
Just pop it open and it'll give you a notification in the app. They say well before it dies, so that you know that it's coming up. And the batteries are cheap. So I bought like CR2032 batteries on Amazon. You can get like I think I got like 36 of them for like $12. I don't know, something super cheap.
They're pretty stupid cheap.
Yeah, so that's not a concern at all, I don't think.
I like that the keypad looks like somebody chopped a Google Home in half.
It does. That's what. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that looks like somebody just like lopped off the top part of Google Home. And the hub does have a built-in battery backup, so if your power does go out, it'll last for Nest estimates 12 hours on its own.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, not terrible. Yeah, so they also announced a couple other things. You've got the Nest Cam IQ Outdoor, $350 for one security camera.
Cameras are really expensive, and that is even crazier when you consider how stupid expensive their like service is. Like it's $10 just for one camera. Like if you have one Nest camera, it's $10 a month, and if you don't pay that, it basically does nothing. It sends you screenshots and doesn't record any video ever.
Because don't like the Arlos and all those that you usually review, don't they still do stuff without the monthly subscription?
They still, I mean, all the other cameras have between a day and like a week of free video backup online. And some of them have local storage too, so you can record everything forever. But yeah, no, the Nest stuff, it's, it does nothing without the subscription.
The other thing to me that's so bizarre is the LTE connected outdoor cameras became more popular. I saw how big this thing is. It's big. And so I asked, like, is there a battery backup or anything like that? Like, no. it's just what it is. You would think that, like, at least, for that kind of money, they could throw in a battery in a cellular modem so that, like, if you lose power, the camera can keep working for a little while, because it's, God knows there's enough space in the thing. I mean, it is pretty for a security camera, which they focused on to an odd extent. I'm like, I don't actually care.
Nest, I actually want somebody. I don't want people to notice the camera. I don't want them to think, hey, that's a handsome camera recording me. That's sort of the opposite of what you want.
I'm looking at the side profile picture in the post. That thing looks like a spotlight.
It's huge. No, I was surprised. I looked at it. I was like, oh my God. It is massive. Like, it is a beefy piece of hardware. So it weighs over a pound. It's quite a heavy camera. It records in 4K. Yeah, it records in 4K. So
does it actually record in 4K, or it has like the 4K sensor and the zoom thing like the indoor one?
Oh yeah, you get 1080p feed. Yeah. So
it uses that to like zoom in on stuff and not make it super blurry.
Yeah.
So what's my question is, what's better about this than the old outdoor cam? The Nest
it does the zoom stuff, and it does like facial recognition. And I think it has a couple other like smart alerts that the regular outdoor.
Oh, it has a much more powerful speaker. So if you want to like, like make an alarm noise or like yell at people with it, like apparently it's much louder.
Get off my lawn.
I do like yelling at people, so that's the selling point.
Totally. Nest Cam IQ. Yell at intruders.
The kids on your lawn? Not anymore.
The final product Nest announced, which you can also use to yell at people, is the Nest Hello. It's a video doorbell. I have to say, as video doorbells go, okay, this one is attractive. It's small. It's, it seems like it's very intuitive to use, except I think everybody's going to press the camera lens instead of the button the first time.
Yes. Oh my God. Totally.
Because the camera lens really doesn't. The camera lens looks like a button.
You're gonna have to like go out and clean it every day.
So I mean, I played with that at the event, and so the ring on the bottom for the actual buzzer, it gives haptic feedback when you touch it, and it lights up. So people will know that once they touch it, that's what you're supposed to touch. So at least there's that. They didn't announce pricing, and it doesn't come out until Q1 2018. I bet it's going to be expensive.
Oh,
this
yeah,
much,
for sure.
like really expensive.
Only a little bit of a lot.
Yeah.
I venture $300.
And so this one does require a power connection. It's not like you can't hook it up to a battery or a solar system or anything like that. It has to go into like your 12-volt doorbell line. So Nest did not anticipate that or consider it, because I know with Ring you can like get a battery and connect it remotely and set that up to like a solar charger that keeps it topped up and everything. And Nest did not seem interested in that solution, which is kind of a bummer, I think, because a lot of people can't replace their actual doorbell, especially if you rent. So this is definitely a homeowner solution only, I would say, unless you've got a very progressive building owner. So yeah, they didn't say how much it's going to cost. It's got a super wide angle camera, and I mean, yeah, it's a video doorbell. There's, it does other stuff, but like, it also doesn't apparently do noise cancellation, right? So it doesn't have, God, what is it called? That feature, so that it knows the difference between the audio that's being played inside and outside. I forget. Anyway, so yeah, the Nest Hello is pretty. That's, I think, most of what can be said about it.
Good stuff.
Yep. And that was most of the Nest event. They also announced you're going to have Google Assistant on the regular Nest IQ, which I think is interesting. I think Google getting Assistant on Nest stuff is probably going to be critical. Part of me wonders, does it make sense to rebrand Google Home and Chromecast under the Nest brand? Because I feel like home stuff and Nest and Google owning Nest, like, it might give kind of a more that view of a cohesive ecosystem.
I can't see risking that with the Chromecast. I could see it with Google Home, but I don't think they want to mess with the Chromecast. That formula is working. Like, why screw it up?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess Nest and TV maybe doesn't make sense. But with Google Home, I feel like they're so close now. Like, they're just rubbing up against each other. It's smart home stuff. It should probably...
I'm not sure, but at the same time, they are updating their indoor cameras to work as Google Assistant.
Yeah, which is what we were just talking about. So I feel like it would only kind of make sense to me. I also feel like Nest could design something prettier than the Google Home. Also, I don't like the way the new Home Mini looks. It's too cutesy, like it's too googly. It's just way too googly.
I was looking forward to buying one for another room, so I wouldn't have to pay for another $100 Google Home. But like, I kind of was hoping for something more like an Echo Dot, where it's sort of small and can just sit in a corner. But this is like, you have to buy a rock that sits on your.
No. Let's be real. It is a Hostess snowball. That is exactly what this is. It is ugly. It looks like it's, I don't know. It's like somebody put a sock on a rock. That's probably sock on a rock. It's a Google Home Mini. I don't like it at all, because I kind of want one too. I want several, but I don't. Yeah. I hate the way they look.
Maybe somebody will make a nice case for the Google Home Mini.
Oh God, yeah. Maybe like a better sock for the Rock. I wonder if the socks are removable.
D-Brand will sell some vinyl skins for it.
Oh, D-Brand better get on that.
Oh, you
small,
know they would
small
love
caveat, it actually blocks the speaker port. Yeah, I want one of them for my desk, but it just looks so ugly.
I think someone said in the comments that it's a pet rock you can finally talk to.
You know what it is? This is the Tribble of smart home speakers. It is just like, oh, I am really disgusted by the Google Home Mini.
So it's a product of low production values in the 60s.
Yes, pretty much. It looks like it has low production values to me. Yeah. So moving on, Jordan and Corbin both have some phones. Jordan has a bunch of phones, but I think the one we should probably talk about out of all those is the Mi Mix 2, which has received a lot of attention.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can really see it because of reflections, but it is a very, very beautiful phone. Hold on, let me unlock it. And then that's the screen. So it's pretty close to bezel-less, except the bottom is smaller than the last year's, and
so the camera is on the bottom, right?
Yeah, it's on the bottom. So when you open the app, it tells you to flip the phone around.
I feel like as kind of clunky as that sounds, I feel like that's what Essential should have done. That would have made
really
no cutouts.
Yeah, the cutout is just bad.
I disagree vehemently. I think if we're okay. No. Samsung's approach is best.
Yes, I will. Yes, I agree with that. Yes,
but it doesn't have that wonderful top corner effect that everybody just goes gaga over. But like Samsung understood realistically.
Yeah. No, I concur. Like the Galaxy S8 and Note 8, like those are the best current implementations of an edge-to-edge screen. But I would rather have the camera on the bottom of the phone than have the cutout like the Essential phone. I think it just causes too many issues.
If you're taking like which one is least terrible, I'd agree with you. But there's just no way that either of those are the right way to go.
Well, and you don't get the weird status bar thing either. I've not.
Yes, that's what really
it goes all the way to the top.
That's what really irks me about the Essential phone, and they don't even allow most apps to render a status bar because they're afraid it'll like break somehow. So it's just like a black space. So the phone looks like it has a giant bezel, even though it doesn't.
And then you get the rounded corners similar to the G6. The radius of the corners don't match the radius of the phone corners, which
that's weird.
Bugs me. But hardware wise, I love this phone. It's ceramic and I think aluminum, and it's a pretty hefty phone. It's quite heavy, but it's a nice heavy. It doesn't wear on my wrists too much. I just got it Monday and I started using it today because in Xiaomi's infinite wisdom, the global ROM is not available yet, even though this is a global phone, because Xiaomi does 2 flagships every year. One that's the China area exclusive, like the Mi 6, and then they do a global flagship. And yet they released a global flagship without global ROM support. So they tell me that's coming, and right now I'm on the Chinese ROM with a horrible implementation of the side loading of Google services. So like Meizu does, but way worse. It breaks all the time. Don't get notifications from Google Apps. Get force closes on Google Apps a lot. Package names I've never heard of get force closed. It's really annoying. But as somebody noticed in the comments, it's this typical story with Xiaomi. It's fantastic hardware, like it's a gorgeous phone, but MIUI is god awful on this. I don't know if it's because it's the Chinese version, because shit's broken. I mean, it's not even MIUI 9, which I don't get either.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it's still MIUI 8.5 something, and it's I think it's 7.0 base, but it's MIUI is not good. The notification, like somebody told me, finally let me know in one of my last Xiaomi review that you can pull down notifications with a 2-finger swipe to expand them, which
yeah.
that's stupid. Xiaomi doesn't ever tell you how
I
to do that.
feel like Huawei used to do that. And EMUI, maybe. It was some Chinese ROM. I remember that being a thing.
It's really annoying. So the thing is, though, if you expand the notification, it doesn't do shit anyway. Like Inbox, for instance, it only gives me 2 lines of the email and the snooze option. I can't delete or anything like that. Telegram, it will give the collapse notification will give you the app icon, the sender, and then the first line of the message. If you expand the notification, it just repeats the first line of the message just with like 3 or 4 spaces in between the 2 lines. So useless. No quick replies, no acting on notifications inline. It, like the Mi 6, it feels really restrained. It's got an 835 and 6 gigs of RAM in it, and yet it still feels like it's being choked and held back, even though I turned off MIUI optimization, the memory optimizations, and the MIUI battery saver, and those still all make the phone kind of drags sometimes. It feels like I said with the Mi 6, it's a powerhouse on paper. Just Xiaomi, for whatever reason, decided to pull it back. I haven't had a chance to test the camera yet, but the fingerprint sensor is in the right place on the back, and to make the bezel smaller, Xiaomi finally went with soft keys. It's kind of hard to see them because they're so small. But like Huawei, they're very cramped. Maybe because of smaller hands, I don't know.
Oh, that AOSP camera icon is real handsome.
Yeah, right. Every time you try to change an app icon in Action Launcher or Nova, the whole phone crashes and reboots.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I'm holding off on my review until the global ROM comes out to see if these things get fixed. Xiaomi tells me that the global ROM should be MIUI 9. But
interesting that they don't know.
Yeah,
they should
right?
know that.
And I've been using MIUI 9 on the Mi 6, and it's pretty not good. They haven't fixed many of the problems that I have with MIUI. Multi-windows in it, and that's about it. So I really want to love this phone, and I would frankly, based on hardware alone, give it a really, I'd say this is probably one of my favorite phones of the year. But MIUI is just, there's always that caveat with all until now Xiaomi phones.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it is with the global ROM. I'm curious to see if MIUI 9 has made any meaningful improvements. I know it's still nougat based, which is, but we'll see.
Yeah. So I mean, there's 2 workarounds. You can do what I did and sideload from the Play Services installer in the Mi Store, or there's a EU ROM is what the developers are calling it. It's the Chinese ROM with Google stuff baked in, a lot of the bloatware removed. So you can either flash a custom recovery and do that, or just sideload it, or wait.
Oh man, I cannot imagine actually buying a phone and then having to deal with that sort of thing. Like, there are people who do it, but like, no, it's like I cannot be bothered with that.
Well, you shouldn't. For me, I don't want to recommend a phone with the huge stipulation saying, but you need to you need to mess with the software. So,
yeah. So when the global ROM comes out, I'm sure the Google stuff will work right.
Right.
Because Google works with them on that. Speaking of Google, Corbin has been trying out an Android One phone. That is the Xiaomi Mi A1. So we're talking about 2 Xiaomi phones today. So Corbin, what are your thoughts so far?
Honestly, it looks a lot like an iPhone. Like if you
it's Xiaomi.
Okay, by the way, so if anybody's forgotten, Xiaomi started by making iPhone clones. Like, they just legit made fake iPhones, basically.
Yeah, and that is also kind of why MIUI looks iPhone.
So bad.
Yeah.
So, actually, you can kind of. It even has like the iPhone antenna bands. My lighting's terrible, but you can kind of see it. They sent me a rose gold one, which is pretty. But yeah, it's like it feels really nice. It actually feels like an iPhone. But of course, the main reason why people care about this phone is because it's Xiaomi's first Android One phone. So you get the good value in the hardware that Xiaomi phones are always known for, and that's why I mean, like Jordan said, that people go through like crazy links just to get the software working because the hardware is so cheap. You get that, but you also get Google's stock Android. So this has pretty much untouched Android 7.1.2, I think it has. Yeah, 7.1.2. I have the September security patch. But yeah, it's the only thing I've noticed with this phone is that when I plug in headphones, it will have a notification that is persistent and says I have a headset plugged in, which is weird, but that's the only thing I've noticed on this phone. Even when you set it up, you can either allow it to enable the Xiaomi Mi Remote app or not. So that's it. That's the only Xiaomi app on this phone besides the feedback app. It's just
So Corbin, my question is,
feedback.
how's the Bluetooth on it?
I
So
have
far,
not actually extensively tested that. I need to do that more.
Because
but it's
every
just a
Xiaomi
normal
phone
phone.
I've used has had Bluetooth problems.
Yeah. Yeah. So I definitely need to actually.
So where are they selling this?
Not in the US.
It's not in the US, which is why I can't get LTE. But they are selling, I think, in 40 countries. They're selling it in a lot of places.
It's an Asia and East Europe, definitely specific phone. I've heard them taught, and Xiaomi has mentioned that they might do a Western Europe release too, depending on how well it does.
Yeah. So just my initial impressions, it seems good. It's fast. It has a Snapdragon 650, I think. I'm not sure. The cameras aren't good. They're just gross.
Potato.
There's
Yeah.
But I mean it has all the stuff you'd expect an international phone to has. Like it has dual SIM, it has micro SD, which is nice. I'm used to Pixel, so I can't take that for granted. But yeah, I mean it's a good phone from what I can tell. Just if you're in the US, you should probably not buy one because you will get bad signal reception.
Yeah,
and
I wouldn't buy one. I mean, but I'm just kind of curious to see, just generally because I know Android One's not been a very successful initiative for Google. It seems like they're putting renewed force behind it now, though. So
yeah, with that rebrand, I have to wonder if this phone does well, though. If Xiaomi will consider doing either more Android One phones or, like I'm supposed to have a talk with them soon about MIUI. If they'll do like Western markets with stock Android and keep MIUI for the Asia markets. That would be my hope.
that would be great if that's their strategy. I would be totally okay with that. I think that Xiaomi still probably has some intellectual property hurdles to overcome to sell in the United States specifically. That still seems to be a problem for them. But yeah, it would be neat if that was their strategy, and if this was kind of just a sign of, it would be really good to have a stock Android budget phone option in the United States, where the updates are basically controlled, or at least highly influenced by Google's release timeline. I could see those, getting a lot of critical praise and hopefully, being an appealing option to people who are kind of frustrated with what Motorola has done with its budget portfolio in terms of the update strategy and lack of strategy, really.
Yeah, lack thereof.
I think that would be cool to see.
Yeah, especially since there's not really a budget phone option in the US with any sort of reliable updates.
Yeah, and Xiaomi, like we've all long said, is fantastic at cheap hardware. I can never fault them for that. They do a great job at packing in a lot for your money.
Yeah, and Nokia / HMD is still mostly staying in Europe, except the Amazon Nexus. Nokia 6,
which is not very good, by the way.
That's still like $300.
I never got
or
one.
something.
Yeah, they took forever with the review units.
But
Okay. To put a rather abrupt end on things. I think that about does it for this week. So thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
good night, everyone.
Thank you, Jordan.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay,
Does
stop
it-
recording.
So wait, does your lower third not see